Section 2 of the Tucson City Charter, all employees should have received notice of this hearing and the recommendation for the employee compensation plan for fiscal year 2024. The purpose of this hearing is to provide an opportunity for interested parties to discuss the proposed plan. The due date to file disputes is 5 p.m. today in the city clerk's office. You need not speak. However, if you do wish to speak, you may. As you come up to the podium, please state your name, classification, and your department. I also ask that each speaker limit their presentation to 5 minutes. I do have a list of people that have signed up to speak, and we will call them in the order that they submitted their request. Tarleton Ferrin. Tarleton, come on up and use the taller mic, please, and make sure that you point it directed at your mouth. There you go.
Hi, good afternoon, Mayor and Council. My name is Tarleton Farron. I'm a Senior Engineering Associate in the Water Department. I agree with the direction of these efforts and would like to thank the HR group for their work in this. I am also new to the city. I have a few questions about whether some positions within my section or department might still be compressed. So my grade is 107, or would be 107. For reference, grade 109 is project manager, 110 is engineers, 111 is engineering managers, 111 would also be administrator, which would be the chief engineer, I believe. Grade 112 is the deputy director, and then grade 117 is the director. So my first question is whether or not the engineering manager, administrator, and deputy director positions might be too compressed. Perhaps adding at least one grade step between each of these positions would decompress this. And my second question is whether or not engineering managers shouldn't be at grade 112 instead of grade 111 to reflect their added responsibilities, including helping their section collaborate with other sections, departments, and agencies. Sorry, I'm a little nervous.
Don't be, I don't bite. And I also don't throw stuff over there, so you shouldn't be.
Yeah, that's all I had. I just wanted to raise that. I think there are plans to review compression afterwards too. But yeah, I just wanted to make sure that that part was reviewed by Human Resources. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Farron. And just for the record, we also have our city attorney, Mr. Mike Rankin, and Suzette, I'm sorry, Suzette, I can't pronounce your last name still, for our Human Resources Director, for the record. Our next speaker is Josh Campbell.
Evening, Honorable Mayor. Suzanne, Suzette, Anna, Mike, thank you guys. For the record, Josh Campbell, representing Tucson Firefighters Association. First off, again, as always, thank you for holding this session to speak with labor, to speak with the employees. This is always healthy as we move forward. Before I want to discuss some of the issues that we are facing, I want to recognize Suzette, you and your team for the work that you've done with us moving this forward. And we're still working through this. Obviously, today's date is ahead of when this approval, obviously on June 6th. So we're still working through this, and I just want to say I appreciate your team and all the work you put into this. So I've got two disputes that I want to bring to the record. Not news to any of you, but back in July of 2022, the city of Tucson recommended and mayor and council passed a 3% pay adjustment to all city employees. In December, the same was done with a 2% to all city employees. So that's about a 5% increase that was given to the city employees. And now going into July, there's another 3% increase being recommended as well. What has not happened with us, and I'm imagining with a lot of departments, is the pay scales have not been adjusted to reflect those increases in pay. So the recommendation that we received recently from Suzette and her staff was to make a 3% adjustment to that pay scale. Well, if we only do a 3% pay scale, we're still 5% behind. So what we're asking for is all of the pay increases that we have received since July to this July fiscally be reflected in the pay scale so that the employees have an accurate scale that accurately reflects their rate of pay. This is a very minimal cost, and I'll explain to you the cost of that adjustment. We had a recruit class that at the time was 32 members. We're now down to 28 that graduated in December. If we do impact that change to the pay scales, it will impact those 28 employees with an estimated cost to the city of around $58,000. So that is the first request and the first item that we're looking to move through on this on the pay scale, and we're continuing to work through that. So. Second item is the starting pay for our recruits as they come in as employees of the city of Tucson. Right now, our recruits come in at $17.26 an hour for the 22 weeks that they're in training. We're referencing the Tucson City Code that requires an 85% of a Step 1 firefighter to be our starting salaries. That number, after the adjustments of the 3, the 2, and the 3 to that scale, 85% of that moves that starting salary of our recruits to $21.46 an hour. So, yes, I'm sorry, $21.46 an hour. So that increase is about $3,600 per recruit. So that's only for the 22-week academy, and then they go into our suppression scale. So that won't impact the city's budget until January of 2024, when that next recruit class is scheduled to start. That is those are the only disputes that we're bringing forward on the record right now. But before I yield my time, I would also like to recognize our Fire Chiefs Association, who has also submitted in writing disputes that are facing very similar challenges within the compression of their pay scale, and is going to require some attention to move, or we're going to have some of those overlapping compression issues between the rank of captain and our entry-level battalion chiefs. So that's all I've got for you, unless you got anything for me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lisa Markula.
Honorable Mayor, distinguished panelists, thank you for this opportunity to speak. I will be very brief. My position is a captain level position. Oh, let me tell you my pay grade. My current pay grade is 818 with a job profile code of J6491, and my job profile name is Strategic Communications Administrator for the Police Department. However, my title is Strategic Communications and Policy Administrator, which better reflects my job duties. My position is a captain level position. The new system puts me at a lieutenant level professional staff pay grade. Even if my position were at a lieutenant level, it should be at the 113 pay grade, reflecting my technical expertise. I administer TPD's website, intranet, and wiki, writing and creating visual content using Drupal, OpenCities, Igloo, Adobe Creative Cloud, HTML, and CSS. I administer TPD's Power DMS, policy document, and DOORS, LexisNexis online police reporting systems. I write and edit TPD general orders. I edit and create 4 monthly newsletters in GovDelivery. I have edited officer-involved shooting videos using Adobe Premiere Pro. And I also, in other capacities, use Adobe Photoshop, Illustrator, After Effects, and Audition. I attend force review boards and write their reports. I participate in senior staff meetings with other captains and administrators, and I am the lead responsible for implementing one of the department's 6 strategic initiatives for 2023. And I am not speaking on behalf of Molly Wise or the record staff, but I do want to give them a shout out because I fear that they are sometimes overlooked and undervalued, and that is not correct. They're a vital part of the organization. Thank you.
Thank you. Captain Frank Hunt.
My name is Captain Frank Hand with Tucson Police Department. I'm also the president for the Tucson Police Command Association. I'm here today to address Honorable Mayor and city staff in regards to professional staff members on the department. We're working through and finishing up our talks with HR staff, and so we just had a meeting yesterday, and I think we're really at a point. We're fine with the commission. I just talked to AJ about that. The membership of the Tucson Police Command Association extends its appreciation to the mayor, city council, city manager, and city HR staff for progressive leadership demonstrated while working towards a compensation plan that includes yearly market updates. We understand the extensive work completed by city staff and that has taken a significant amount of time and energy and has no doubt been very challenging. I'm here today representing the professional staff commanders. These are the individuals who are in assignments equivalent to the commissioned commanders, and they've asked me to speak on their behalf. In January of 2023, the Command Association membership voted to allow professional staff commanders into the organization to become members, and we updated our bylaws February 9th of this year. The Tucson Police Professional Staff Command equivalent positions list the names as attached to the salary dispute form. Many of the personnel have completed individual dispute forms and submitted them to the city clerk, and they may be speaking today. Employees have not been afforded time to prepare dispute language concerning the salary adjustments within the bands because HR hadn't released the information in regards to where they stood soon enough. This included to department directors regarding how recommendations were made. The 3 items identified in the dispute process are financial sustainability guidelines, market information, and salary survey data. To date, this information hasn't been released even when department leadership directly asked for it. You may be surprised you hadn't heard from any of the employee groups regarding this process or the recommendations. It wasn't because there was any agreement, but rather that none of us had been given access to the information or the recommendations. During in-person and virtual meetings with City HR, TPCA leadership has consistently advised that we were now representing professional staff commanders within the 816, 817, 818, and 819 pay ranges. During a meeting on April 13th, we communicated again that having the information on the new compensation pay bands would give us time to evaluate them. We felt that comparing the structure to existing pay ranges would be beneficial to both to the membership and to City HR, since it would provide an opportunity for collaborative discussion and agreement. We were not afforded that opportunity, and were told until Mayor Council approved it that the information couldn't be shared. The first time that the Schedule B was available to TPCA for review was after it was uploaded into the Mayor and Council agenda on May 8th. That's when I first saw it, the day before the meeting. Upon review of the new pay bands and City HR's recommendations, we identified issues related to the hierarchy of our organization, and since we discovered there were subordinates in pay bands above their supervisor. In reviewing the placement of professional staff commanders within the new pay bands, it appears that employees may have been moved based on the closest midpoint to their current pay bands in the ranges. It also became apparent when I was reviewing this data that the midpoint wasn't the actual midpoint of the range, which was concerning to me. When asked about this, the City HR personnel advised that they were working on language to explain why midpoint was listed only 29.76 to 34.53% of the pay range and was not the true midpoint of 50%. I'll note that in the time that I've been doing market studies and working with City HR staff, AJ's been really accommodating over the years and has taught me a lot about that. And Suzette is working with us too, and we're still learning. But it was concerning that I didn't have access to actually market data to actually compare it to what we were doing, because I've always had it before. Since City HR has consistently stated midpoints is not what was used to determine market. Since City HR has consistently stated that midpoint is what was used to determine market, that's what during discussions over the years, an inaccurate midpoint can be problematic. When prospective professional staff employees see the new pay bands associated with the job they're applying for, it will not be an accurate reflection of potential compensation. I asked about market studies completed by other cities and organizations, was told that there was a hidden ceiling that over the next 3 years, the maximum pay will actually compress down to the hidden ceiling. I still believe that this is a significant issue when other cities or organizations are reviewing data for a market study, because ultimately that will come back to us. The leadership of the Tucson Police Department has made recommendations to City HR regarding which pay bands professional staff commanders should be placed, but discussions are taking longer than expected. We're asking for additional time to discuss the movement of professional staff commanders into new pay or compensation bands, and that consideration be given to the recommendations presented by department leadership. The intent of this dispute is merely to continue this vital and necessary work with City HR staff. So I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All righty. Molly Weiss.
Good afternoon. My name is Molly Wise. I'm the records superintendent for the Tucson Police Department. I'm representing the role of police records superintendent, and then I will touch briefly on police records supervisor and police records specialist as I oversee both of those roles. Thank you so much for your time and consideration this afternoon. I wanted to start by saying, identifying that my current pay grade is an 817 and the proposed pay band is a 105. I believe that's accurate. What I wanted to touch base on is the responsibility of the role has significantly changed throughout the year, and the liability that the department has based off of this role has increased. I function as the System Security Officer, SSO, for the department, which ensures compliance in a number of different avenues, such as ensuring that we are complying with state and federal mandated rules and regulations. It is also my responsibility to ensure that the rest of the department acts in accordance with those rules and regulations. Outside of that, we also ensure that the public has access to reports, and we provide transparency, and all of that is done through my unit as well. with the advancement of technology, that job description has really changed and modified throughout the years. The pay needs to reflect those changes in responsibilities and liabilities that the department faces. I believe that at a minimum, the roles should be closer reflected with other roles throughout the city, and be aligned with the professional staff commander, lieutenant level for my own position, and then closer aligned for the record supervisor with other supervisors throughout the city, as well as the police record specialist, to more closely mirror what other individuals in that same space are being provided. I think that is all that I have for you today. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Cesar Evangelista.
Your Honorable Mayor and Council, my name is Cesar Evangelista, and I'm a police records supervisor for the Tucson Police Department. I appreciate you all for allowing me to come up and address a few key issues about compensation for both our police records specialists and police records supervisors. A few of those key points I'd like to touch base on. The minimum starting pay on the proposed fiscal year chart does not accurately reflect the actual pay records specialists and records supervisors are receiving, due to the recent percentage increases to inflation, as well as Arizona's new minimum hourly pay requirements. Additionally, the TPD records section within the past few years has inherited an additional number of tasks for the department. Some of those tasks include body-worn camera footage, photos, and audio recordings, to name a few, that require to be reviewed and redacted for public release. The section no longer just deals with paper copy cases. We are one of 3 agencies within the state of Arizona where the records section is operated 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The reason being, our records section is quite unique because we also handle a few public communication tasks, such as being the department's teletypewriters exchange for law enforcement and criminal justice agencies nationally and internationally. The records section also enters, clears, and confirms all entries in the state and national system for the department, which is usually not a records function. The department in 2022 had transitioned to the NIBRS Incident-Based Reporting System, also known as NIBRS. With this transition, a lot more responsibility and essential functions has been put on the record staff and supervisors to ensure that the department is compliant at reporting crime statistics at the state and national level. A lot of larger agencies within the nation are choosing not to transition to the new crime reporting system because it is too difficult and labor-intensive. However, the TPD record section has taken on this challenging new responsibility and are on our way to be NIBRS compliant. In conclusion, our police record specialists and police record supervisors have taken on more essential job functions than ever before. And I believe that both of our positions need to be addressed and appropriately compensated to reflect our present day functions. I would like to thank your Honorable Mayor and Council for your time today.
Thank you, Cesar. Susan Robles.
Good afternoon. I wanted to take the opportunity to thank you. My name is Susana Robles. I work as a police record specialist at the Tucson Police Department. I've been there for 17 plus years. And over the 17 years, the records department has gained, as Molly and Cesar both mentioned, the liability. The unit I work in does body-worn camera, 911 photos, video. We also do OPS redactions, which is the Office of Professional Standards. And over the 17 years, we have not received the pay that reflects our workload and what we have to do. So I was just here on behalf of the PRSs, as we gain more responsibility, liability, and our pay does not reflect what we do in that department. So I was just here to kind of give, like I said, Cesar and Molly pretty much touched on that. And in the last 5 years, as I said, we've gained all these additional media requirements, which we need to learn new programs, new training, new redactions to follow the laws so that we're redacting appropriate to who the information is being released to. So I just wanted to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to kind of give you an idea of how the role in records has changed over the last, from the 17 years on, and how much more responsibility has been put on the PRSs. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Robles. Norma Camacho.
Good afternoon, Honorable Mayor Romero, HR Director, Assistant City Manager, City Attorney, and panelists. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to the proposed compensation plan. I am Norma Camacho, Principal Contract Officer in the Business Services Department. My current classification is 816 with the proposed to move to a 108. I have proudly worked here for 10 years and currently support Housing and Community Development and Office of Economic Initiatives, Proposition 101's construction projects. I'm here today to request that Mayor Romero, Assistant City Manager, City Attorney closely review the proposed compensation plan before approving. The proposed plan lists 5 known positions within the Business Services Department, Finance and Procurement Division that are currently equivalent in grade and qualifications, which have been changed unequivocally without the supporting qualifications. The current example is the Principal Contract Officer position and the Finance Specialist position are equivalent in both grade and qualifications. However, the proposed plan lists the Finance Specialist at a higher grade justification, which brings to question, where are the proposed qualifications? Current qualifications listed for a PCO contain job requirements and additional professional requirements such as professional certification, whereas a finance specialist is still yet listed at let me go back. The PCO is currently listed equivalent to the finance specialist, yet in the proposed compensation plan, we are listed at a lower grade than the financial specialist. Again, the finance specialist with the identical qualifications to the PCO qualifications is listed at a higher grade level and without the documentation supporting the new grade level. Secondly, I request City Mayor review the market trend analysis that supports the new compensation plan related to the procurement positions. It is evident that the City of Tucson Procurement Division should be compared to an equivalent agency and job description. For example, there are those such as Pima County, City of Albuquerque, City of Virginia Beach, San Diego County versus a smaller agency. You will find that the market trend analysis does not fairly compare an equivalent agency to the City of Tucson procurement positions. City positions require the qualifications of a degree, 3 years of service, and job requirements of a certified professional certification of a CPPB or a CPP. Our work consists of construction contracts, goods contracts, services contracts, hotel lease agreements, emergency determinations, and much more. We train all departments within the city and support the workday effort related to procurement. We support all emergencies, support new projects, federal funding, cost and price analysis, and more. Mayor, I request that before accepting this new compensation plan, that hopefully HR can provide that supporting qualifications analysis and market trend, ensuring that it is a fair compensation for our future. All of these positions within procurement are related to a procurement administrator, a procurement manager, a senior contract officer, and a contract officer, and my position, a principal contract position. All of these positions are in the identical situation where they're currently at an equivalent level to our finance group. And example, a finance administrator, procurement administrator. And you will find that every single grade level in the proposed compensation plan lists every single one of the procurement positions a grade lower than the finance comparable positions. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Camacho. Evan Hoy.
Excuse my friends. Madam Mayor and Council, thank you for taking time out to listen to our concerns. My name is Evan Hoy. I work as an HVAC technician in the Environmental and General Services Department. We're currently at a 918, and I think the proposed is a 105 for the pay grade. I'm representing the HVAC department in this dispute, a dispute that technically has been ongoing for a year now since we didn't receive a response to our dispute from 2022. While the new compensation plan is a step in the right direction, the new proposed salary midpoint is still on average a couple dollars short of the other municipalities we were compared to, which you can see in the documentation we submitted with our salary dispute. And since our current salaries will be inside of the new proposed range, we fear the increase to our pay range will mean nothing for us. When I was hired, I was told I would receive an annual evaluation which would determine whether or not I would receive a pay increase. In the 6.5 years that I've been with the city, I've received only one evaluation, and it didn't result in a pay increase because, like so many others, I was told there was simply no money for raises. And then a couple years down the road, there was talk of a skill/performance-based pay scale or something similar, but we have yet to see anything implemented as regards to that. And when other trades who also submitted a salary dispute last year got resolutions, and in some cases raises or reclassification, trades similar to ours, the HVAC department still hasn't heard anything back from our dispute. So with the majority of the HVAC department well below the new proposed mid-range, we worry about salary compression when new people get hired. And those few who are at or above the mid-range worry that despite 15 or 20 years of service, the salary max is out of reach or unattainable for them. I was proud when I got hired at the city of Tucson. I'm still proud to be a civil servant working here at the city. We have dedicated HVAC employees who have been here for 10, 15, 20 plus years, sweating, working hard to keep fire stations, police stations, city water sites, and other important city buildings like this one functioning, cool, and comfortable, hoping that one day there would be money for raises, that one day our pay would be competitive. Our scope of work continues to expand with P-card verifications on Workday. We're trying to fill in the gaps of our new work order system. There's refrigerant phase-outs, implementation of new propane flammable refrigerants that we're going to have to figure out how to understand and work with, and then new technology, new equipment that constantly is being implemented to try to meet energy standards that oftentimes we have to do our own training to make sure that we understand and can work on and maintain. But our salaries haven't changed much over the years. The few raises the HVAC department have received have been those that went out citywide. While those have been appreciated, they have done little to bring our pay up to a competitive level and offset the rising cost of living. And while other municipalities have 2, 3, or 4 positions for HVAC or a skill-based tier system where they can level up, we have nothing in place. We have one position, and we have seemingly no way for us to get any raises. So in conclusion, while we appreciate that our new pay scale is getting closer to other municipalities, we hope that our salaries can reflect our skills and years of service and put us at a competitive level so that we can retain our dedicated employees and give you the service that you deserve. Thank you.
Thank you. Rafael Cañas.
Like my coworker, thank you. It's an honor to be here for us to, but it's like he was saying, there's a lot of experience. There's a lot of knowledge that we need to acquire more for this future. There's a lot of changes coming up with the refrigerant for the AC equipment we have. We have a lot of places we've got critical equipment that we need to work. We need more experience get involved more, and agree with my partner, our representative for HVAC. Before I forgot saying, my name's Rafael Cañas from HVAC department. And like my partner was saying, our comparison with other salaries, we fall below. And we need to understand that we going into critical times and we're changing equipment. The equipment we're going to innovate is different technology, different refrigerants, and we need more training. We need to, and we're eager and we're very ambitious to learn more about this. And we want to provide that service for the community. We love Tucson. We are so grateful to serve Tucson. And we want to keep this. I'm very grateful for my partners, my coworkers. I appreciate being in this department. And we need to acknowledge that we need to back these up. And that's all I got to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Cañas. Is there anyone else wishing to speak in this public hearing? I don't have you, but come on up.
I apologize for that. I was sure that we put one in. I saw it on an email, so if I did something wrong, I apologize. My name is Mike Gomez. I'm the president of TPOA. I'm an officer with the Tucson Police Department. First off, the Tucson Police Officers Association thanks the mayor, city council, city manager, and city HR staff for working hard to ensure competitive market compensation for the city employees. We commend these tireless efforts of the city staff in achieving this milestone, and that's for all city employees. We're here about two very specific issues. So TPOA represents our community service officers within the police department, and both the city and department leadership recognize the crucial role that our CSOs play in our mission and in our community. The city's objective is to increase the number of CSOs, to improve community outreach, and to reduce the 911 call wait times. They can take lower priority calls and frees up our officers to take some of the higher priority stuff. Our CSO employee group is our most culturally diverse at TPD, 47% of those being Hispanic, with women comprising the majority at 60%. They make significant contributions in both fieldwork and investigations, and effectively filling critical gaps in those areas. Over the past few years, we have been actively addressing the issue of CSO pay compression specifically. The false floor that was implemented in 2021, although great for our newer CSOs, negatively impacted many of our tenured CSOs. While our sworn ranks received raises, the promised resolution for CSOs has yet to materialize in regards to this compression that I speak of. Just to rectify this, we propose a simple yet cost-effective solution. CSOs with 3 or more years of tenure receive a 6% increase, while those with less than 3 years would receive the standard 3% that the rest of the city employees are getting. I can speak from personal experience as to how frustrating that particular topic is. So many of the CSOs that were negatively impacted were our field training officers, those that lead in investigations, that are taking on more responsibility. And I just go back to a time when I was a training officer at our police academy, training the future of the agency. Was a field training officer for many years. I was a subject matter expert in 2 disciplines, and I was making $2 more an hour than the recruits that I was training in the academy. So that's the frustration that our tenured CSOs are experiencing. They're training people then making just 50 cents to $1 more than the people that they're training. Our second request pertains to the promotions of sergeants. We urge that newly promoted sergeants be placed at a higher starting salary point. And this alleviates some of the compression issues between the officer, detective, and sergeant rank. Presently, 2 members promoted from the active list, which is brand new as of January, will be earning $3.92 an hour less than a sergeant that was promoted 6 weeks earlier. Furthermore, we currently have multiple sergeants who are still at entry level, still on probation, earning 3 different hourly rates because we don't have that structure in place. Implementing this change would not result in a significant cost at this time, and we are not seeking that the range for the rank of sergeant be moved. That's all we have. We appreciate your attention to these matters, and thank you for all the work that you've done so far. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Any others wishing to speak today? That was the last name. I don't have any additional names on the list. And so with that, this public hearing is closed. Disputes may be filed until 5 p.m. today at the city clerk's office. All disputes will be referred to the city manager for further action and review. And I thank you all for coming, being so respectful, and for all of the work that you do for the citizens of Tucson. We really appreciate the work that you do. So with that, public hearing is closed, and you may go onto stay home. We'll give you 20 minutes. Thanks.